my question is like, when it comes to like, you know, actually like putting in like the action and putting in the work, right? Do you have to like, would you say it's a prerequisite to believe that the thing is going to happen before it actually happens? Meaning, right? Because like what I feel like is like, I feel like you use the Mr. Miyagi reference a lot, right? Like, oh, you got wax on type of thing. So like the way that I feel is like, it's like, I'm gonna listen to you, right? And I'm gonna go up to the girls, I'm gonna tell them, hey, I want to do this. This is my plan X, Y, Z, and I'd be doing that, right? But like in my head, I'm like expecting them to be like, I don't know, no, you feel me?
Right.
So I don't know. So it's like, so how much of it do you think is like, I feel like, you know, your inner world is a like your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So I feel like if I don't believe it's going to happen, then by some way it's not going to happen. So I guess like, what's your perspective on that? Even if I'm taking all the right actions, I'm telling the girl, what I'm trying to do, like, do you still have to believe it? To like, does the universe kind of be like, yo, even though you're doing everything, you're not believing it. So I just want to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, because what's going to happen is that how you think is going to be reflected in your experience. So the thing is you can mac on accident and for example, like you can talk to 100 women and one will be highly interested in you, right? But the problem is that that's macking on accident, because that one who's interested in you is going to realize sooner than later that you're not attractive. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you're going because you're going to think that you don't deserve it, and then you're going to act that way, and that's going to make her run away from you, and then that's going to reinforce what you already believe. You see what I'm saying?
Right. That's what I was like leaning towards. I'm like, yo, I feel like, because I like, for example, I'll tell a girl, yo, take my number down, right? And because I expect her to take my number down, I feel like it happens, right? But then if I say, yo, let's hook up, I don't expect her to say yes. So therefore, even though I could say everything, it's like, it's not happening. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, what the fuck? There has to be something more to that. But yeah, it's exactly what you're saying.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. Your thoughts become your actions. And this is why, so for example, a lot of times what happens is this, right? Is what you say or what you talk about is directly tied to what you believe. So, for example, I always use this example. You would probably never say to your boys, "Hey, let's meet up on the roof and jump off and fly around the city." You understand? You're not gonna say it, like that sentence, that phrase, is not gonna come out because you believe that's impossible. So you would never say what you believe is impossible. So it will never be uttered out your mouth. So a lot of times, what happens is when you want to tell a girl, "Hey, let's fuck," you don't believe it's possible she would want to fuck you like just off the rip. So you don't really say it. You see what I'm saying? That's the point. So that's the point of having game and having a mouthpiece. See, a lot of guys think the mouthpiece is, I got to say some slick shit or whatever. No, the mouthpiece is, are you confident enough to believe that you can actually say what you want to say? And so if you are confident enough to say it, you will say it, which means that you are putting it out there, which means that you're giving yourself a chance to get what you actually want. But if you're too scared to say it, it ain't gonna happen. You feel what I'm saying?
No, I hear what you're saying. So I don't know if that's necessarily like, so for example, like last night, right? I was working. I work at like a bar, and these two chicks that were there, and I was like, yo, listen, take my number down, right? I get off at 1. Hit me up around 1-ish, right? I'll come through and we'll have a threesome, right? I said that verbatim, like all my life, everything, right? But like in my head, I was expecting her to be like, all right, no, you feel me? But like, I feel like because I feel like it's not like, because I had the expectation of it not actually going through, like it could fuck me up. That's what I'm kind of trying to say, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you have the expectation that it's not going to happen, then it's going to fuck up the situation. You see, because
regardless, even if I say everything like perfectly, like
because what you're doing is, this is the thing. So okay, how old are you?
24.
Okay, so you're probably a little young. So I mean, they still have radio stations and everything, and sometimes they used to have these dials in a car or on a radio where you would have to tune into a certain station. So I used to listen to, I'm in Brooklyn, they have Hot 97. So if you listen to Hot 97, you have to dial into 97.1 or some shit, or 97.0 or whatever, right? So now
I got that in my car right now.
Right, exactly. So if I dial into like 99.6, I might hear a little bit of 97.1. You understand what I'm saying? I might hear a little bit, but I'm also going to hear some static. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I'm not actually right on the fucking dial. I'm not on the frequency. So what happens is that you're saying to the girl, hey, let's have a threesome, but you're also telling the universe a threesome ain't going to happen. So now,
right.
You see what I'm saying? It's in contradiction. Right. You see what I'm saying? So now what's going to happen is that's going to muddle the water. So now, even if she says yes, if she was even about to do it, you're going to do something to fuck it up because you think it shouldn't happen or it's not supposed to happen or something's going to go wrong with it. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. Right. That's exactly what I'm trying to fucking figure out. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, there has to be something else there. Okay, yeah, you're explaining it to a T. Exactly.
Right, exactly. So that's what I'm saying, where you gotta have that thought that it's, it's possible, it can happen, and that it will happen. And see, this is the thing. Most of the time, what'll happen is that most people they go with the idea that it won't happen because it didn't happen. So let's say, for example, you're like, you know what? I told the chick I want to hook up, and she said no. And I told another chick, and she said no. So now what'll happen is you will gravitate to that idea and keep that idea, right? But what happens is that both ideas are possible. So meaning she could say no, or she could say yes. Both ideas are possible. But what happens is we cling to the idea of her saying no. And what I'm saying is her saying no, I'm talking about in general, you're going to start to think they're all going to say no because these ones already said no. So I'm clinging to the idea that no is what happens and yes is an impossibility. You see what I'm saying? So now what happens is when you have game, when you this is how you know you have game. When you have game, you understand that all outcomes are possibilities. So now, because I know that yes is a possibility, I just keep going until I get what? The yes. You see what I'm saying? So you have to, so this is what I'm saying. You have to beat out your own mind and your own ego. See, that's the trick. Right. The trick is that you see, you're asking the universe for it to happen, but you don't believe it's going to happen. So now it's all the friction and the static. You see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that you have to say, oh, both of these possibilities can happen. So when I hear no, I'm not mad at no because I know no is a possibility, but I also know yes is a possibility. And this is the funny part. If you really understand, or if you're really aware, you'll understand that yes is a possibility because no is attached to yes and yes is attached to no. So if you're like, man, this chick said no and that's all it's going to be, that means you're still asleep. You're not aware. Because if you're aware, you would understand that no is connected to yes. So all you need to do is keep going until you get the yes. You see what I'm saying? So she can't. That's what I'm saying. That's how deep the game is. You can't get no without yes. So if no is connected to yes, why are you stopping when you hear the no? Or why are you worried about hearing the no? No is going to happen regardless. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like rejection. If you're afraid of getting rejected by approaching a woman, then you don't actually want a woman to say yes because you have to accept no to get yes. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the thing. That's what it's about.
Okay. So I got that's especially what you said about the pride and the ego and like the getting out of your mind and stuff. Like that's what it felt like I was doing. I was like, I just got to keep. It really just boils down to the numbers. Like you just got to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? And then once you get more experiences of it actually happen, then your mind starts to kind of warp and be like, oh, this is the actual possibility.
Exactly. That's exactly. Notice, why do you think I tell you I talk to 25 women a day? Because what happens is that's the thing that's going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? Most of these guys on the internet, what they do is that they sit on the sidelines and they stay on the internet and they hear a bunch of losers talking about, oh, it's about looks and no chicks are going to want you and it's over for you, bro. And this is just all of that fuck shit. But what happens is when you're actually out in real life, what's going to happen is you're going to talk to these 25 women a day. You're going to notice some of them are going to say no. Some of them are going to say yes. Some of them are going to be extremely cooperative. Some of them are going to be wishy-washy. So you're getting to experience all of the outcomes. All outcomes are possible. And since all outcomes are possible, you just have to be the one to actually find the outcome that you want. That's it. That's what the game is about. The game is not about trying to convince or turn a woman who's not interested in you to be interested in you. It's about you having the strength to get what you want. So it's understanding, hey, I'm cool with no because I'm cool with yes. So if I want yes, I have to accept no. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the part. That's the part of it. You see what I'm saying?
Right. And I'll say this, right, because I've been on it for a little bit. But like also too, I've been playing the numbers game, and it's like it's funny because I'm getting every like interaction and every thing that I do like with a chick, it's like it gets me more clear as to like what I want. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll go to a chick and I'm like, oh, I didn't like how she did that, or boy, I like how she touched me, or like I like how I whispered in her ear and I was like this like so like as you do more, it's like you have more clarity about like what it is that you actually like, and that helps. You know what I'm saying? Because now I can charge more chicks for the game.
Exactly. So, and this is what we try to say. Remember, the game is about you. Because check this out. Remember, I said what? No is attached to what?
Yes.
Right. So that means it's all what? One thing, right?
Right.
So it's essentially the same thing. So just like when you said, when you approach the woman and talk to women and interact with the woman, you start to know more of what you like. You start to know more about yourself. But check this out. You are connected to the woman. You understand? Just like you have yes and no, you have male, female. You understand what I'm saying? You have man, woman. So what happens is that the woman is essentially you. You're basically just playing the game with yourself. This is why we say the game is about you and not about women.
Right.
Because what you're understanding through that is you're understanding more about yourself through the interaction you're having with yourself. This is why we talk about cooperation. When the woman's cooperating, she's just mirroring you. Just like you see what I'm saying?
Right. Because if you're dealing with an uncooperative woman, that means that you hate yourself.
Right.
Shout out to
exactly.
Steve,
you see what I'm saying?
Oh my
God. because check this out. If I go into the mirror and I put my hand up and make a fist, right? And I go in and I'll make a fist, the mirror is going to do exactly what I'm doing. So the mirror is essentially me. So when a woman is doing what you want to do, she's mirroring you. She's being you. And then the woman and on her end, she's actually seeing herself in you. That's why it's all one fucking thing. That's what we try to tell y'all. You see what I'm saying? It's all one thing.
Yeah.